Opening hook. Okay, let me ask you this. Can a death sentence handed down 14 years after a war truly deliver justice, or is it just a performance for the history books? Because that's exactly what's happening here. Syria's former president, Bashar al-Assad, has been sentenced to death in absentia for crimes against humanity. And honestly, this feels less like a legal verdict and more like a political mic drop. Let's unpack why this moment is both symbolically powerful and, frankly, a bit hollow. Context setup. So, to recap, Assad, his brother Maher, and cousin Atef Najib, who actually got arrested, were convicted for war crimes tied to the Syrian civil war. 500,000 dead, cities reduced to rubble, and a dictator who fled to Russia only to be condemned by the very system he once controlled. On paper, this trial looks like a win for accountability. But here's the thing, when justice arrives this late, who exactly is it serving? Key idea 1, the theater of in absentia trials. Let's start with the obvious, sentencing someone in absentia is pure symbolism. I mean, Assad's in Russia, sipping vodka while his name gets dragged through the mud. This isn't about punishment, it's about narrative control. The new Syrian government wants to erase the old regime's legitimacy, right? But here's my take, these trials risk becoming a PR stunt. If the accused aren't in the room, if they can't face their victims, what's the point? It's like throwing a trial party where the guest of honor ghosted. Sure, you get to say you held them accountable, but did you really? Key idea 2, death penalty, justice or revenge? Now, the death penalty itself. Personally, I think executing war criminals sounds satisfying until you realize it's often about closure for victims, not deterrence. But when you're sentencing a guy who's already untouchable in Moscow, what's the message? We hate you forever. What fascinates me is how this blurs the line between moral condemnation and actual justice. And let's be real, Assad's already lost power. This verdict isn't flipping any switches. It's just adding a moral exclamation mark to a story that ended 20 months ago. Key idea 3, Russia's role, safe haven or strategic calculation. Then there's Russia. Why are they sheltering Assad? It's not just about loyalty, it's about leverage. Moscow's got a vested interest in keeping Syria unstable enough to need their support but stable enough to maintain influence. Here's the kicker, by refusing to extradite Assad, Russia's basically daring the new Syrian government to challenge them. And this trial? It might have been a calculated move by Syria's new rulers to force Russia's hand. Like, hey, give us Assad or look complicit. But Putin's not biting. Smart play? Absolutely. Deeper insight, justice versus reconciliation. But let's zoom out. This trial raises a deeper question. Can a nation truly heal when justice is served decades late? Take Rwanda, they prioritized community-based tribunals over showy trials. Syria's approach feels inverted. By focusing on toppling statues and sentencing ghosts, are they addressing the systemic rot that enabled Assad in the first place? Or are they just swapping one strongman narrative for another? What many overlook is that true accountability requires dismantling entire power structures, not just hanging a few posters of the old boss. Closing thought. So here's my final take, this verdict is less about justice and more about branding. It's a signal to dictators everywhere that history might catch up, even if it's late. But if Syria wants real change, they'll need to look beyond symbolic sentences and confront the machinery that made Assad possible. Now I want to hear from you, does this trial matter, or is it empty virtue signaling? Drop your thoughts below. And if you're into these kinds of messy geopolitical paradoxes, smash that subscribe button. Let's unpack more of this.